Good day. My name is Anissa Barton Thompson, and I'm the social media specialist for the California State University Dominguez Hills College of Extended and International Education. I'll be your host for this presentation. Welcome. This webinar is being recorded and will be available on our website and social media resources shortly after today's session. Feel free to download the Construction Project Management Certificate Programs Information Kit for details about the program and additional resources covered in today's webinar. If you need assistance, you can find the link at bit.ly/CSUDH-CMX-InfoKit. We have provided a link for the info kit in the chat for those who are participating live, and will also be available via email to a follow-up to our attendees, as well as on our website. Before we jump in, I'd like to review the Zoom controls. This session is being presented in a webinar format, so you won't need to worry about connecting your microphone or camera. In order for us to address your questions, feel free to use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen if you are joining us from the desktop app or the web browser, or in the top right of your screen if you're on a mobile device. Okay. Once you click the Q&A button, a dialog box will open allowing you to type your question. Our marketing staff members, Stephanie Bukian and Keith Otterberg, are standing by to assist. We'll be answering those questions at the end of the session, although oftentimes you may find that the question you have may be answered during the program overviews. With that being said, let's take a look at our session for today. We'll begin by meeting our certificate faculty, who will introduce you to the program via an overview of benefits, expectations, and course details. And now to kick off today's presentation, I'll turn it over to Mr. Jay Jefferson, our lead instructor for the program. Jay, take it away.
Thank you, Anissa, and good morning to everybody. I have myself on mute. So welcome, everyone, and we're glad to have you this morning. This is an information session, and we hope that our objective today is to help you understand more about the program and see if it's a good fit for you. So first of all, I'm going to just introduce this handsome group of people right here. This is from left to right. As the names are listed, David Stern, Larry Kaltman, Jay Jefferson, who is myself, Linda Newton, Austen Pell, and Michael Lahlou. So they will all have an opportunity to tell you more about themselves shortly. I also want to acknowledge Elizabeth Legg, who is the program director, and she's the one, her and her team are really the ones that are the engine behind the whole program. They make everything work. Our job is easy compared to theirs because we're able to just show up to the classroom, but everything is set up and organized by Elizabeth Legg and her crew. And so let's talk about the industry outlook. Obviously, that's an old photo of SoFi Stadium. It's just about complete. I think they're about ready to show games there, but that is part of the thing, you know, so much going on in the economy right now. Even, there is a lot of uncertainty right now. You know, we have to acknowledge that, right? That due to global pandemic, economic shutdown, and widespread unemployment. But, you know, also this is a great opportunity to position yourself for a great career. And so some of the things that are one of the leading economic indicators out there right now is what's called the Architects Billing Index. And the Architects Billing Index was developed by AIA, that's the American Institute of Architects. And what it does is they gather information from design firms. And so it's kind of like, if you know much about construction at all or anything about construction at all, you know that design has to come before construction. And so what AIA does is they project the amount of construction coming up based on the design that's happening currently. So their projections take us to about what's going to be happening in construction about 9 to 12 months, you know, based on what's happening in design today. And so, what the ABI, the Architects Billing Index says is that, through March through June, design services were down. I mean, obviously, right? We would expect that. But, based on what they showed recently, it appears that it's starting to stabilize. So that's a good thing. That's very positive for us. And another thing that's on a positive note is that, there is still a labor shortage. And so if you just think about, what was going on before COVID-19, 2019, construction was pretty good, right? There's been a labor shortage for some time now, since 2014. But construction has been kind of rolling along, even with certain constraints related to labor shortage, global market, and all those kind of things. But it creates an opportunity for people who are interested in getting in the industry. And because construction has been determined to be an essential service today, we're very fortunate that we can still thrive in our business. Continue to work. So, and so that's like the ABI, the Architects Billing Index, is a national index, right? But let's talk about what's happening locally. And so if you think about all the things that's going on locally in the LA area, there's a lot of large projects going on, right? Some, developers are waiting for the ideal timing, but others are in full swing, like, the People Mover at LAX, the Conrad, I-710 is the corridor. That's a huge project coming up, $12 billion. The bond pass for the community colleges in K through 12, that was $9 billion. I think the university has some part of that too. Hyperion Water Plant is another big project. And of course, residential housing is ongoing as well, because there's just, frankly, just a housing shortage right now. So these construction projects will continue, and it's important to focus in on that, because there's so much negativity around us right now. And I definitely recommend against watching too much news, because that doesn't really help us. Just watch enough news to stay informed. But there are a lot of positive things that are going on in the construction industry. And so David Stern, who's one of our instructors, he has boots on the ground. And so I'd like to ask David, what is his perspective on what's going on in the industry right now? David?
Sure, thanks, Jay. So good morning, everyone. I've been a licensed engineer and licensed general contractor since the 80s. And I specialize in commercial tenant improvement work. So I'm basically doing newer retrofit work in commercial buildings. And first of all, before I even get into my boots on the ground experience, I wanted to echo something that Jay was just saying. I have a good friend who is a designer in a sizable architectural firm, and his job did not go away, but his salary was cut in half during March and April and May. And more recently, he's restored to full salary. So his firm is clearly busy and reflecting exactly what Jay was saying about the Architectural Billing Index. Anyway, from my own perspective, I had a contract that I had already written and was sent to my client on, I think it was the 3rd of March. And I was waiting for their signature and to get started. And then we fell off a cliff. So that job hasn't happened yet. I've actually done some other work for them. They were suddenly focused on retrofitting their existing space for the situation when they could bring their staff back. So I worked with them on that. It was a much smaller project. And then more recently, they've told me that the bigger project, the one that I was hoping to get signed up now 4 months ago, it's hard to believe it's been that long, maybe 5 months ago, actually. it's coming. They're looking at the first quarter of 2021. So that's hopeful news for me. In the meantime, I've done a lot of work in Santa Monica over the years, and the civil unrest caused a lot of damage in that area. And I have a client whose commercial space I had built 25 years ago, and it got really trashed. Exterior of the building and their lease space itself. So I worked with that client and their insurance company, and I got the contract to rebuild that space. So the city had put together an express permit process to deal with the victims of the civil unrest. So there was a foul up because the city's records had a different address for the building. So it faces two different streets. And so they had a list of properties that were going to be qualified for the accelerated permit process. And our building suddenly wasn't on it, even though we clearly had suffered it, but the addresses were wrong. The mayor's office contacted me. They led me by the hand and walked me through the process. We got the permit in 3 or 4 days. The job actually just finished, I'm proud to say. We got final inspection yesterday. So that was an adaptation of the work that I do to conform to the changing circumstances. And I'm clearly seeing that circumstances will continue to evolve, but it will demand ongoing staffing and being addressed. The circumstances require being addressed by capable people. So that's my experience. Back to you, Jay.
Okay, thank you, David. And you've got to imagine too that because of COVID-19, you know, everybody has to take certain mitigation measures. You know, you got to screen the employees before they come on the site. You know, you got to do staggered hours to keep down the number of workers. You got to do social distancing, you know, additional sanitary measures. So, you know, production is going to be down. I mean, that's just kind of like a fact of life until we can get where we need to be. But also, you know, one thing that you have to consider is that there's an opportunity here. And the opportunity is for people who think out of the box, who can take advantage of, you know, the changing in culture. You know, I call this a paradigm shift. It's a change in the culture. Things are changing right before our very eyes that will never be the same. And so we need to prepare ourselves, you know, especially those who are seeking to advance their careers, need to prepare yourselves for these types of opportunities. And, you know, this is one way, this is what our program is designed to do, help you prepare for those opportunities. So let's talk about who should attend. Okay, so the target audience is you. You should attend. And so the reason why I say that is that, you know, the program is designed for people who, you know, that have construction experience. You know, you might be working at a construction firm. You might be a laborer, working for a subcontractor, you know, whatever the case may be, who's looking for better opportunities. Maybe you're looking to get out of the field and you're looking to get into management. It's also for people who may be transitioning out of a career and looking for a new career. And so, you know, there's opportunities there as well, you know. And so, you know, it's for everybody. The program is designed for everybody, whether you're trying to figure out your new career or whether you're interested in advancing your current career, whether it be at your current local, your firm you're at now, or maybe you're at you want to move to another firm. You know, I always say that subcontractors are one of the greatest resources for you know, employment, because if you think about it, there's, you know, 10 to 20 times more subcontractors than there are generals. So your opportunities are going to increase exponentially. And so if you think about employment opportunities, right? And so typically what we see is that, you people that come out of our program, they either go into like, it also depends on your background and your experience, because, a lot of people who come into our program already have degrees. Some people don't have anything, but, there's a very wide range of, a diversified range of the type of people that we get. And so depending on your background and education, your opportunities will vary, of course, right? And so it could range from internships, or you could land a project engineer position, assistant project manager, something like that, either for a GC or a sub. I've seen students come out that have, had great success. We have community partners, which we'll talk about a little later, but our community partners, our contracting community, they hire our students. And so there is a great career path opportunity. So let's talk about attendance and participation. Okay, so the thing about attendance is, we want you to participate. I mean, so let me just back up a minute. So there's 8 courses covering essential aspects of a construction project management. We're going to go through those 8 courses in detail shortly. Each instructor will speak to their courses. And then once you complete the courses, you'll get a certificate. So now attendance and participation. So one of the key things about attendance is we want you to be engaged, right? So, we all know how, online is very different. I mean, if you have kids in school, or if you've attended classes yourself, you know that, everybody's in the Zoom world, right? And a lot of people participate with their cameras off, which is fine, but, participation is required for the course. So we have designed some things that we hope will stimulate your participation. There'll be discussion boards, and there'll be breakout rooms, there'll be poll questions and quizzes, so, just keep that in mind, as, that you don't want to just zoom in and tune out, right? We want you to be engaged with our process. And so the only course that you have to take in sequence is the planning and estimating course, because plan reading must be taken before estimating. But as far as the other courses go, you can take those courses in any order according to the schedule that's published and according to your availability. And so registration is a very simple process, and we're going to talk about more about registration later. So the schedule typically is nights and weeknights and Saturdays. So the typical course is 3 hours, but there are some exceptions to that. One class is 1 full day, but you can complete the course, all 6 courses in as little as 6 months. But each course is scheduled twice a year, so you should have many opportunities, to complete the program in 6 months. And so everything's online, like I just said. So it's online via Blackboard and Zoom. So, so here is a course overview. And then we're going to meet the instructors. Each instructor is going to take some time out to tell you about themselves and to tell you about their background. Background, of course. So let's start with plan reading. So Larry Kaltman teaches plan reading and estimating. And Larry, why don't you tell us briefly about yourself and tell us about the course?
Had to unmute there. Good morning. My name is Larry Kaltman. I've been in the construction industry in one form or another for the past 60 years. I'm a registered architect, licensed general contractor, and a California certified access specialist dealing with accessibility issues. I teach the plan reading and cost estimating class, and I approach plan reading as teaching another language. It is a language of paper and words that combine to form the the directions for building a building. There are numerous design disciplines that are involved in creating the building. There's going to be a slide in a moment showing what that is. This slide that you're looking at right now is an overlay of all of the design disciplines on top of each other, showing what goes into building that house. Each one has its own unique requirements and code regulations. They have to coordinate with each other. And the plans reflect the instructions for building that building. As the various elements are withdrawn from that overlay, you begin to get to the point where you can see the underlying architecture, and that's where we'll start the class, looking at the meaning of lines, symbols, and the schematics, dimensions and how to understand them, how notes enhance the drawings and vice versa, how all this speaks that new language. The classes are taught employing drawings, actual photos of the building in construction, and 3D modeling to assist in understanding the plans and the construction process. In the cost estimating class, we use the same set of plans that we've looked at in plan reading, and using a team effort, students are assigned to teams, and the team creates a cost estimate for building that building and doing the quantity takeoffs and surveys that are vital to doing a cost estimate. The simple math and simple algebra that are necessary to be able to do the takeoff is one of the first things we get into. I help you to begin to exercise your math muscle all over again. And we deal with how to use the drawings, photos, models, etc., to begin to understand how to do that takeoff. At the last class, we'll take a look at all of the team effort that's been put into creating estimates, and we'll do analysis of each of the team submissions to show where there have been successes, where there have been failures, where there's been some humor, and where there's been some sorrow, and try and understand how all that comes together. And we'll look at the actual price of building the building as part of that comparison. I look forward to sharing that time with you and having you in class and enjoying each other's company. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Larry's class, I think, is one of the classes, probably one of the most popular classes. I always hear feedback from students, whether it be in testimonials or whatever the case may be, about Larry's class and how it helped them. So great job, Larry. All right, so let's move on to Austen Pell. So Austen has a very unique story, and I just love listening to it. Austen, why don't you tell us about yourself and about the class?
Well, thank you, Jay. Yes, I'm a graduate of the Law for Construction. I'm sorry, of the Construction Project Management Certificate Program that you're all interested in. Why you're all here today, and welcome everyone. This is my certificate that I received in 2012, and it boosted my career. Of course, actual results may vary, but it resulted in a pay raise and better employment prospects for me. Construction was at a very low ebb in 2012, 2013. So I hope if you're enrolled that you have similar results. I teach the Law for Construction, Construction Law CMX 921 class. Larry and Jay were my instructors. So was David. A few of the others have changed now. But back in 2012, I was a graduate of this program. I'm actually a licensed attorney, licensed and admitted to practice before the California State Bar. I'm also registered to practice before the United States Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. I'm a licensed registered patent attorney with the United States Patent and Trademark Office and the United States Tax Court. I try to teach a broad variety of subjects that are relevant to construction management. In my class, you will learn construction contracts, delay claims, bonds, stop notices, mechanics liens, contractors license law, and dispute resolution, negotiation, mediation, arbitration, and litigation. And I teach these subjects with an eye to prevention rather than cure. Law, as in life, is all about prevention. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, as the old motto goes. And the legal topics covered, as I said, are tailored to construction management. And whether you're in the public or private sector, whether you work for a contractor or an owner, and whether you do residential, commercial, or public works, I endeavor to make it all encompassing. Also, please don't be intimidated by this curriculum. I tell my students, if you only retain 5% of what you learn, you'll know more construction law than 90% of the construction managers out there. And there are no homeworks or assignments except for makeup assignments if you miss a class. And I try to answer every question, try to be as nurturing as possible. So, and we, as Jay said, we have a wide variety of students. We have people with no industry experience, who have no education apart from high school, all the way up to architects, engineers. And the program is very nurturing, and the staff are too at the School of Extended Ed. So welcome all of you. I hope to see you in class in the future. And thank you, Jay. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Austen. Great story. All right, David Stern. So David, as we said, he's got boots on the ground. He's actually a contractor. So David, tell us more about yourself and about the class.
Sure, thanks, Jay. So good morning again, everyone. So many years ago, I graduated with an engineering degree, and I had in mind that I was going to work for a couple of years and then go to graduate school, presumably business or architecture, although there were a number of options. And I got a job with Turner Construction. You may have all heard of them. They're one of the prime contractors on the SoFi Center. And they moved me cross country, and I anticipated slogging it out for a year or two before grad school, and I was amazed to find that I actually liked construction. I liked the business, and I liked the people. And so, as they say, the rest is history. I never went to grad school. I stayed in the construction business. I got my professional engineering license, although I don't actually work as an engineer other than the construction management aspect of civil engineering. But I've been a contractor for all these years. I've had my own company since the mid-'80s. I specialize in commercial tenant improvement. So I'm building offices within existing office buildings. Most of them are remodels. For the last 10 years, most of what I've done is taking industrial and warehouse space and turning it into high tech and much more modern space. I like to joke that if you see the police station on CSI Miami, there's probably no police station in the world that really looks like that, but that's the space I build, with the polished concrete floor and the exposed bow truss ceiling and the sandblasted brick walls and exposed ductwork, and of course paint the sprinklers red and paint the conduits blue, etc. So I have done it for years and years. I'm still doing it. I actually have a little ambition in mind, and that is to continue to work until the 2028 Olympics. Figure a lot of things are going to get built around here in the next 8 years. So that's my tentative schedule at this point. So I teach CMX 905, which is called Financing Real Estate Acquisitions. It's a one-day class, 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon. Obviously, there's no homework since it's a one-day class. It takes place on a Saturday. And I try to teach two things during that class. I do teach financing real estate acquisitions, and that is where to go for financing and how to present yourself to a potential lender. But that notion of how to present yourself really gets back into a lot of other aspects of construction, most notably the creation of a pro forma. And the pro forma is the mathematical model of the project, or a financial model of the project. And so I teach the basics of how to put together a pro forma, because a pro forma, in fact, is something that the developer themselves will need, but it's also something that a potential investor will want to see, and it's very much something that a lender will want to see. So it's kind of the backbone of the financial organization of the project, and it's also a necessary element for obtaining financing. But at the same time, I also spend some time talking about entitlements, which is the process of going through public agencies to get approvals for the development or construction process. So basically what I try to do is in that one-day class, talk about, as I like to say, how to get from the concept of a project to a project. How to get from, I see a property and something could be built on it. How do you get from that state of mind to ready to break ground and actually build the project? So it's the development, it's the conceptualization, it's, as I said, the entitlements, and then it's preparing to obtain financing and obtain investors, and therefore financing real estate acquisitions. So it's a good one day. I look forward to seeing you in my class in the future. Thank you.
All right, thank you, David. Great job. All right, so next we have Michael Lahlou. Michael, I think is probably one of the instructors that's been with us, biggest for the shortest period of time, but Michael has an extensive background in education. So Michael, why don't you tell us about yourself and about your class?
Sure, thank you. Good morning. So I have a bachelor degree in civil engineering and master's in civil engineering. And I knew back then that I didn't want to go into design, so I went and had my MBA and a PhD as well. I've been working for over 25 years, and also I've been teaching for over 10 years at Cal State University, Long Beach, and Cal State University at Fullerton. And I've been teaching construction accounting classes and other construction management classes. My work also, I worked for about 5 years with the design consultants earlier on when I just graduated from school. And after that, I joined the Orange County Sanitation District, and I've been working there for more than 15 years. And that's where I've been managing multiple construction projects. And I recently retired, and I continue to teach in this program here, and also work some consulting projects. I teach the construction accounting in this program, and it's a 4-session class. So it's 3 hours every week, and for 4 sessions. And I'm always amazed with the different background of the students. you know, one thing that I always start with is to introduce myself and make sure that the students introduce themselves as well. You know, their education, their work experience, and it's a very good place to meet people in the field and make some contacts. So you know, I have, so construction accounting, I have, you know, I have students who are, you know, like working with contractors, with a GC or subs, or they might be working with or trying to change career. And I also have students, accountants, and so this class here is not, we're not trying to make you an accountant in 4 sessions, but the purpose of this class is to expose you to the terminology of a construction accounting. So, you know, so if you work in the construction industry, you will be able to communicate with your accountants, and your accountants are the key success for your firm. And you know, it helps. So I mentioned that some of the accountants take this class, and they enjoy it because they also, you know, learn the construction terminology. So in this class, in addition to the terminology, you get exposed to all the reports that the accountants perform in their career with the construction, in the construction projects. So I enjoy teaching this class, and it goes very fast. A lot of people participate, and I make sure that to engage different people to make sure that they're on target, so they can take some knowledge back with them at the end of the day. Thank you. I hope to see you soon in my class, and back to you, Jay.
All right, thank you, Michael, appreciate that. So next we have Linda Newton, and Linda's gonna tell us about bidding and scheduling. And you know, so the bidding and scheduling kind of go hand in hand. If you get the job, you're not gonna be too successful if you don't finish it on time. So that's what Linda's gonna help you do, is understand how to get the job, but not only that, but to finish it on time. Linda, why don't you tell us about yourself and your class?
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. So my story is similar to David's. I was working for an airline, and I got tired of the drive and the hours, and I ran into a friend that worked for a heavy highway contracting company, and they hired me on as a purchasing agent just to purchase minimal stuff around the office. And I was there about 6 months, and I thought, this is just a short-term career. I'm going to be moving on. I know nothing about construction, not interested in it. And they go, hey, we'll give you a raise and a company car if you want to go into estimating project management. And I go, well, I don't know. I'm pretty good in math, but I know nothing about construction. So they go, well, try it. And I thought, well, I have nothing to lose. I wasn't going to stay in the industry anyways. So I go over there in 1989. And I remember the first day they put a spec book on my desk that was like 1 inch tall and a set of plans, and said, take a look and let me know if you have any questions. And I thought, oh my gosh, first page questions, second page. I mean, I'm just like, I don't even know where to start. Luckily, they then, you know, worked you through it. But I remember how overwhelming that was, you know, starting that way. And I ended up staying in the business for 26 years. And at the company I worked for, we did the bidding and scheduling project management. So I had the full circle. And I really, really enjoyed it. I retired 3 years ago, and I really love the industry. And so much has changed in those years that I was asked to teach, and I really love it. I love being engaged with the students. And so in 1989, pretty much you had your public works and your private jobs, and that was about it. Negotiations was kind of like, hey, I'll trade this for that. You kind of wrote out a little schedule on a piece of paper, and that was it. Well, the industry has changed significantly now. So in the bidding part of it, you now have public works, you have bidding as a general contractor, you have bidding as a subcontractor, you have design build jobs, you have partnership types of bids, you have all this local business and all these different requirements in bidding. So what we do is we take all of those and we do a lot of group projects. So people get hands-on going through spec books and actually putting together bids. We have some competitions where we set up into small groups and we do where there's a competition to do a design build job. And so the first 3 classes, 2.5 classes of the session are based on bidding. And then the second half of the class is scheduling. Scheduling has become extremely important. Most jobs you have to submit a schedule, and it's not on a little piece of paper with some scratches on it. We start off with hand schedules, really basic schedules, and then we get into doing some Excel schedules, 3-week look-ahead schedules, and then we advance into critical path method, which goes into P6. I don't know if those of you have heard of P6, but that's kind of a big, for bigger projects, a lot of agencies and so forth, that's the schedule they like. We get a little bit into Microsoft projects, but we build schedules as we go to learn how it affects, and it can get into claims, cost-loaded schedules. So we go through all of that, do a lot of hands-on with scheduling. And in the last class, the students can either do a group project or individual project, and they do a project, anything they want, and it has to assess risk and put together a bid and put together a schedule, and they present it to the class. And the classes love it. Everybody learns. I always learn something from it. So I'm really hoping you join my class. I enjoy teaching and I enjoy engaging with all the students.
Thank you, Linda. I think Linda's expressions kind of tell you or show you that we all have a passion for teaching. And just like Linda, I enjoy teaching immensely. I am a product of the CSU system. I graduated twice. My master's is in engineering management. My bachelor's is in construction engineering and management, both from Long Beach State. And I retired almost a couple of years ago now. But I had managed construction projects for the CSU system for 30 years. And I actually managed projects at the Dominguez campus for 9 years. I actually did the pre-construction for the building that's behind me, which is the Science Center. And I worked on a lot of buildings on campus. And so I also, I was on the board of directors for CMAA, the Construction Management Association, for 2 years. And I've been teaching in this program for 10 years. And I just started recently teaching at Cal State LA this year. And so that's been a new challenging experience. And so I want to just share some of the things that we do in field project management. First of all, I want to ask if anybody's ever heard of CM at risk. So maybe you could chat to us in the chat pod if you've heard of any of these terms before. CM at risk, design build, progressive design build, task order construction, anything like that. If you've heard of any of those methods, and these are called best value delivery methods. And so that's one of the things that we focus on, because obviously everybody's doing design, bid, build, right? But these new delivery methods are up and coming. A lot of public and private owners are completing projects this way now. And so I'm not going to try to promise you that you're going to be an expert in delivery methods when you come out of my class. But just as someone said earlier, you'll understand terminology. You'll understand processes. And so, it's like nomenclature changes from, project to project, whoever, depending on whoever you're working with. Different owners have different nomenclatures, virtually for almost the same thing. But one of the things that you'll understand when you come out of this program and out of my class is process. So process will get you a lot further, because if you're coming in versus somebody fresh who doesn't, maybe who has a degree, an engineering degree, but doesn't understand process, you'll be ahead of that person. And so one of the things about best value delivery methods is that it moves us away from adversarial relationships. So we're no longer pointing the finger at each other. We're talking about how we solve problems together. And that is one of the keys to successful, because I've done a lot of CM at risk projects. I've done collaborative, what we call collaborative design build in CSU, is AIA calls progressive design build. So I've done a lot of those types of projects, and I know that collaboration is the key. Partnering, building relationships, trusting people, operating with integrity. All these things help us get through the project as a team. And at the end of the day, where would you rather be? Would you rather be in court, or would you rather be shaking somebody's hand saying, great job, I hope I get to work with you again? And so the other part of the class is that we have guest speakers. We have industry experts coming to the class to talk to you all. And we got a class on budget and constructability reviews, project management software. We got a team project, which is going to be exciting. Teams are going to develop proposals and have a competition. We have what's called pool planning. So Linda talked to you about scheduling, right? So, yeah, sorry. So Lisa talked to you about scheduling. And so pool planning is just another form of scheduling, right? So pool planning is scheduling when it gets down on the trade level, right? So now the trades people are involved, and it's a pretty unique process. So we're going to take you through that. We've got a case study that we did. And of course, there'll be some brief quizzes and a discussion board. So there'll be some things that you have to do independently. And so as far as my safety class goes, so the safety class, I get the question a lot of times, can I waive the safety class because I've been through the OSHA Institute, or I have a number of OSHA certificates, or whatever the case may be. And what I always tell students is that this safety class is not like the OSHA Institute class, because the safety class that we teach is geared toward project managers and how they conduct themselves and how they conduct business safely on a construction project. And there are some very unique distinctions, which I won't take the time to go into now, but I can assure you it won't be like getting an OSHA certificate. And so we have guest speakers that come to my classes, in that class as well. Some of the topics are going to be excavation and trenching. How do you respond when an OSHA inspector comes onto your site? Over the life of your career, you're probably going to have a construction accident. You don't want to see that happen, of course, but more than likely it's going to happen. And if it does, or when it does, OSHA will come to your site. How do you respond? We're going to talk about that. Managing accidents. We're in a world of COVID-19 now. What adjustments is the construction industry making to COVID-19? So, one of the primary things that we try to do, in not only this course, but in every course, is we try to stay relevant. We try to stay relevant to what's going on in the industry today to help you get a leg up about what you're going to do in your future, in your career. Okay, so let's see, next. So we're going to talk about the program benefits, and there are many. So you heard me talk about subject matter experts in the past, and so we actually, on that particular photo you see is one of our classes was at the Science and Innovation Center site, and a CW driver took us on a tour. A CW driver, among many others, are what we call community partners. And so our community partners, they support our classrooms, they come on career day, they speak to our students. they do presentations, and they hire our students as well. You might have heard me mention earlier that a number of our students get employment opportunities through our community partners. And so we're very grateful to have them with us to support us. And so the other thing is practical application. So you heard me talk about earlier about understanding process and terminologies. Actually, you're going to learn how to do plan, reading, and estimating. Those are all very important tools. Right now, of course, we aren't doing job site visits, but we will be in the future once the COVID-19 restrictions are lifted. And, we already talked about the curriculum being relevant. And so the only thing I'd like to say is that we have 180 years combined experience, individuals, instructors in our program who, as you heard me say earlier, have a passion for teaching students. And so we want to make your experience, we want to be able to keep you up, because we know the whole thing, you're at home in front of your computer, you're half asleep, your monitor's off. So we want to keep you up for one thing, but we want to keep you engaged, we want to keep you enthusiastic, and we want you to have fun. So those are all the primary things I hope that you would get out of the program. We do hope that you'll join us. One of our primary goals is to help prepare you to move into management in the construction sector. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Anissa.
Thank you, Jay. This was amazing. Thank you to all of our instructors for our great overview of the program. And we're going to come back to our instructors momentarily for our Q&A segment. But first, let's take a quick look at the course delivery and registration details. So almost all of the CSU Dominguez Hills extended education programs are being offered in an online format, which means that students are assigned online access through our campus's IT services. Each student will need login credentials to access our student portal called My CSUDH. This portal includes Blackboard, our learning management system, where course content is distributed, Toro Mail, our Gmail-based student email system, and Zoom web conferencing tool. These login credentials use your username, email account, and password, which are issued through our registration office about 2 to 3 business days after registration in your first course. Enrollment is available for all of these programs through Extended Education Registration Office, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturdays from 9 to 1 p.m. We highly recommend that you register early to make sure there's space in the course that you want and to allow enough time for course information and online access information to be created and distributed to you. Payment is due at the time of registration. You can pay for courses individually or for the multiple courses at once. The federal WIOA, which is Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, provide funding through the California EDD for qualifying students who are currently unemployed or seeking career training. For more information, email WIOA, W-I-O-A, at csudh.edu or visit our program website for more information. If you need further assistance, Google private student loan providers or connect with salliemay.com for student information loans. Okay. Again, we recommend that you register at least 1 week before the course begins and check your Toro Mail and personal emails frequently for special instructions and campus notifications. You'll also want to be sure to test your account access in Blackboard and get comfortable with the layout of the class, just so that you can know where announcements, Zoom meeting schedules, discussions, and the like are located. Let us know via our academic technology services if you're having any difficulty connecting. Okay, now we're ready for our questions with our instructors. I'm gonna jump right into the Q&A panel and just see if there's anything. If you have any questions regarding anything that you've heard in this presentation today, please make sure you go ahead and jump in there right now. So one of the initial questions that we get is, how do I get hired in construction project management with no prior experience? And any of the instructors are welcome to join in.
Well, I could start out, and I'm sure some of the other instructors have examples of what they've experienced. I've seen people who, I saw this one young lady, she had a bachelor's degree in psychology. And so honestly, I could see how that could be useful, honestly, really, it could. But so no construction background whatsoever. And she ended up getting a position with a contractor doing estimating. And so I've seen people, I saw another student that was actually in our class. The first student was not in our course, but I knew her through my work. But this particular student went through our course. She had no degree or anything like that, no background or experience in construction. And so back when I was working for CSU, a lot of times I was on panels, I was on the owner's panel, choosing contractors that were responding to RFPs. They were submitting proposals. And next thing I know, this student walks in, we were doing interviews, and the person that was a student walked in. She was on the project management team for the contractor. So, honestly, it does take some initiative by individuals. It's like, this is not going to be magically happening. But if you are a person who's willing to take initiative, there's a lot of opportunities out there. I'm sure some of the other instructors may have some examples as well.
I would suggest going to the various construction companies, general contractors that are listed in the phone book, an anachronistic term, if I ever said it again, and contact on their websites, contact their HR divisions or employment divisions, and look for the opportunities for internships.
Yeah, also, I address this a little bit in class 6 of my
and beyond
my
internships, that there are entry-level positions.
Oh, I'm sorry, did I cut you off, Larry? I'm
No,
sorry.
he just had a
Larry, I think
pause.
you
Go
were
ahead.
breaking up.
Oh.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that companies are not necessarily looking for
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and,
construction experience. They're looking for bright.
yeah, Larry, we're having some issues with your audio. We'll go ahead and switch back to Austen.
Oh yes, actually, I have some suggestions in session 6 of my class as to how to enhance your career or get hired, because after all, we're all everybody's here, or all the students are here to make more money. This isn't we're not here to learn the meaning of life. This isn't a philosophy class. We're here for practical reasons, to enhance our career or to get a jump in the industry. And I suggest various methods in session 6 of my class. One of them is networking. You can join. There are a number of groups you can join if you have no contacts and no experience. There are a number of organizations you can join: the Construction Management Association of America, the International Code Council. You can, if you become a member and you volunteer to be on an advisory panel, you get free membership. And that looks great on a resume if you're on an advisory panel. For example, I had a student who worked for a rebar manufacturer, and she became an advisor for reinforced bars with the ICC, and that helped her. Then she changed jobs and received more pay. Increase in pay. So there are various strategies, also electronic. There's LinkedIn, there's Monsterboard, Career Builder. And right now, post your resume on those electronic platforms. Like I say, networking, getting your name out electronically. are my best suggestions. But also happily, we're in a growth period where the industry is taking in anybody almost who that they can to fulfill the shortfall in construction. Everybody from laborers to accountants are in short supply right now. So we're in a growth period where the industry is taking in almost anybody, and then just to see how they do. And if you do okay, you stay employed. If you don't, then they'll replace you or whatever, lay you off. So that's I'll turn it back over to the panel in case anyone else has further input on this question.
Yeah, this is Mike Lahlou. So construction project manager is all about communication. So you have a team of people working with you, an estimator, a scheduler, project engineers, and superintendents, foremen. All these people will be working and they have their own experience. So this class, you know, it gives you that confidence. You will learn about the terminology of each field. You will be able to talk with a scheduler, with an estimator, with with the superintendent, with different people that work in the construction industry. So it's a perfect class if you're. This program is perfect program for people who want to switch careers and get themselves into the construction project management. And I always ask my students, you know, why they choose specifically construction project management certificate program here at CSUDH. And many of them, they did a lot of research about all the programs available here in Southern California. And they found that this is, it has a lot of referrals, and also it's one of the most affordable programs in Southern California. So I hope you will join us in our classes.
Okay. Gentlemen and ladies, I want to thank you for your information and your participation with our Q&A panel. And at this point, I want to review our next steps. So we've covered a great deal of information regarding the programs, but just in case we missed anything, feel free to email or call us during our business hours, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And you can email us at learn@csudh.edu or call us at 310-243-2075. When you're ready to take your next steps and register, our registration office will be standing by to take your registrations via phone at 310-243-3741, option 1. But remember, if you've recently been a student at CSUDH, you can simply log in using your My CSUDH portal to register for the courses online. Okay. We'd love to get a little bit of feedback about today's session. So if you have a moment, please let us know how we can improve the quality of information provided by visiting bit.ly/CSUDH-webinar-feedback. We'd really appreciate it. Okay. This concludes our Construction Project Management Program information session, and we want to thank you for joining us today. Again, feel free to connect with us on our website, via social media, on our Facebook and LinkedIn group. And remember to register early to get your spot in your preferred classes. We'll stay in the session for just a few more moments to give everyone a moment to jot down last-minute notes, details, and download the information kit from the chat panel. The recording for this session will be online shortly on our website and via our social media. Once again, thank you everyone for joining us today. Stay safe, and we look forward to working with you soon.
Also, just want to give a quick thank you to Anissa. She always does a great job. Stephanie behind the scenes. I just met Stephanie recently, but she's awesome. And then Keith Otterberg, he's kind of like a behind the scenes guy too, but they support our program from IT and marketing and such like that. So we're very grateful to have them. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.